Hi, this is Pat O'Mara. I'm the chairman and CEO of Inveniam Capital Partners. We own Inveniam IO, and we recently launched Inveniam Chain. We have interest in a number of other entities as well, but we're super excited to be with you. And I'm joined by Richard Walker, who leads our Inveniam IO product. Richard, you want to introduce yourself real quick?
Yeah, Pat, thanks. Great to be here with you again after a number of years. Great to be on the team this time, not just a visitor. As Pat said, I'm leading the Inveniam IO business under Inveniam Capital Partners. After a number of decades in management consulting, advising large firms on the use of digital technology to transform financial market infrastructure, I've joined Inveniam, and I'm super excited about what we're doing. We're going to talk about today regarding the IO platform as well as Inveniam Chain.
And Richard, we're really talking about digital intelligent private markets, and AI has come out with all sorts of great capabilities. It can process at speed, it can interrogate at speed, it can do data matching at speed, but it can also deceive at scale. And that deception function, if it's not matched up with a mechanism to provide proof or surety or verification at scale, it's why. And that's the connection with AI and blockchain that Inveniam's been working at for quite some time. Our focus, which is unstructured document data, where we're managing and administering the life cycle of the lingua franca of private markets, which is where all the value is in the context of this document, where it lives. And this really is what Inveniam IO is. Is that right?
Yeah, Pat, what we've done with Inveniam IO since the inception of the business is really brought forward and implemented the tech stack capability to deliver unstructured document data in a way that can be verified for origin, for process, and for state, and used by diligence teams to reprice and value private market assets dynamically. And we've always held that this would lead to systematic trading of private market assets. And it wasn't until what we're seeing in the demo that we're going to discuss with the introduction of agentic AI that not only do you have the data that you can act on, so the data exists in a form that can be used more efficiently, the efficient use of that data is achieved through AI. Now, if I think about private market assets overall, Pat, I just want to add that the biggest issue with private market assets is the cost of verification. The collecting the documents, verifying with the right documents, it's a complete document set, it's a current document set, going through that, and you've got two trusted parties, a buyer or seller in the private markets. And does the buyer trust the seller? And so the buyer spends a lot of time with other parties to prove the veracity of that data around origin, process, and state. And so what we did was through the history of Inveniam IO, is we brought that forward in a way that it would be read, indexed, vector embedded, hashed, and anchored on chain. So you would know when you looked at the data that the provenance and all of those things that I've mentioned around origin, process, and state. But that wasn't enough. It wasn't on its own, it wasn't enough. It didn't reduce enough of the friction and the cost of verification because you still had teams using that data. It's valuable, no question. But value at scale is now achievable through the machine reading, machine activation using agentic AI to be able to do agent-to-agent negotiation against the buyer-seller set of interests with the underlying data sets, which is a big unlock for scale.
And the large data set pattern recognition, that what AI is able to do, where it's at scale, where you have these agents able to do specific functions, where I have an agent, and we're going to show this, where one agent using Anthropic, one is using ChatGPT, both validating the data back and forth, anchoring on Inveniam Chain, the proof of verification. And what happens is not that at a single moment, seeing that there's a change of state of data, indexing it, vector embedding it, and then in many cases now, what we're going to be delivering in the very near future, the ability to have those semantic chunks anchored as well for a registry within the document. But what we're doing is we're administering this again and again serially, so we create memory of the performance of the asset, so we can see aberration as many data points relate to one another. And what this is doing is it is reducing the long pole in the tent for a real estate transaction or a private equity transaction, a private credit transaction, or an infrastructure transaction, which is the diligence. I can have my agents running, validating data, letting you know it's been validated by my agent. You can go on the other side, have your agent do it. And this is what this video is doing. It's literally giving you the ability to have agents processing data at scale, delivering back initial feedback that used to take associates 6 months, that are now going to take minutes to deliver back and deliver it to the real intelligence to make decisions with and argue over the one thing that matters, bid versus ask, because you've validated all those other external data points.
You know what else I love about it, Pat, is in the video we show the artifact set being built up dynamically through the processing of AI, so that when you challenge something like these documents don't match, you have the full justification, rationale, and evidence that they don't. Instead of an analyst going through and working to find out that, oh, I found an error, and then the other party saying, what error? I don't know. Show me how you got there. And having to do all the work again and rebuild it. It gets built and it gets archived as a natural consequence of going through the process.
And it really is an environment, a trustless environment, where you have AI that is going to have an agent that's going to process data at scale, at speed, review it, say, here's what we've seen, here's what we've verified, anchor that on chain, give conclusion, get to the other agent, your agent, doing the exact same work against a different LLM, asking different questions and different prompts from your viewpoint and validating what we're stating or rejecting it. And this really is what's amazing. And there is no way for us to work in an agentic world, agent to agent, intra and inter-organizationally, without having a mechanism to commute trust in the origin of the data, the process of the data, the state of the data that was gathered and then delivered. Does that make sense?
Yeah, it totally makes sense. Completely agree.
And so this video that we invite you to watch is showing two agents verifying data on a real estate transaction. I think what Albert's showing you is fantastic. This is going to take you about 4 or 5 minutes. And we really appreciate your attention to it, and watch our video and come back with feedback. And if you'd like to be a user of Inveniam IO, please reach out to Richard. Or if you'd like to have feedback or develop upon Inveniam IO, reach out to me. We're excited to expand our ecosystem, expand our user base, and see this being deployed in the markets real time.
And we're also running a closed beta currently on NVNM Chain. So if you go to NVNMchain.io, you can apply for the closed beta there and participate in how your agent can use attestations on chain, calling from any other agent-to-agent communication, just like we saw in the video here, to get a proof against a piece of data so that your agent can complete a transaction knowing that data is most accurate, the state is known, the process and origin have been proven, and that you can transact.
And if we can do this, where we're extracting the real value from unstructured document data, where that data lives, it's not leaking, it is secure, it's in the client or your own security envelope, and then you're permissioning people in to interact with it, permissioning other parties' agents to interact with your data. And as you do that using Inveniam IO, you drive the ability to understand the asset. That drives price discovery. With price discovery, you drive trading and liquidity. And it is the first step, which is when Inveniam kind of lives, which is in surveillance of an asset, price discovery, and that ongoing performance of data, so you can understand the state of that asset.
Yeah, and one last comment on this, because this is a long close, but adding the MCP server services to Inveniam IO has unlocked a ton of new value for our existing clients and future clients, because going through the process of reading that data in its location where it lives, not uploading data, not compromising sovereign data for monetization by other parties, but keeping that data where it lives, reading it, indexing, vectoring, embedding it, hashing it, and then anchoring it, allows agents to then inspect that data in new ways that we haven't historically. So is the data set complete? Are there blackout periods? Are we missing rent rolls through certain periods? Do we have resolution on liens that existed but then disappeared out of the data set? So you can inspect that data set for completeness, for anomalies. AI has long been great at anomaly detection, and know that data set's complete. With the hashing of that data down to the semantic chunk level, when a piece of data changes and in the document set, that hash will then automatically get picked up and re-anchored on chain. That re-anchoring on chain can then send an alert to anybody who's monitoring that to go in and not only know that something changed, know exactly what changed, what field changed where, and know whether it was material or not. For instance, we're speaking with a firm that's interested in bringing their private credit portfolio onto the platform, and to know if something changed in the underlying private credit agreements, do I need to rerun a risk rating? If it's a small thing, if you don't know exactly what changed, you're going to spend money and cycles and time rerunning the risk on that asset. When if it's a small change, you'll know exactly what changed when, and you can act accordingly. I think that the notification period, I think the complete document set, I think the semantic chunk level, interrogation understanding is a whole new set of capabilities beyond just adding an MCP server and adding Inveniam Chain to the stack.
It really is. And we're excited that we're going to go through a series of these podcasts. We're going to try and keep them short for you. We're going to attach videos. We're going to be looking at specific function, both on the technology and market function that we're seeking to accelerate. But we're excited for all of you to be with us. Richard, thank you for spending time with us. God
Thanks,
bless you.
Pat. Thank you.